Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy AA on 2 for 20. Quick thing before the video starts, I just wanted to let you guys know that young Bobber and I forgot to mention that last week we both went 6-3 actually for Picke'Ems, because if you don't know, lock counts as 2 points instead of just 1, so that's why it's 9 points in total with 6 wins, 3 losses for both of us, or 6 right, 3 wrong more like, but still, this week Picke'Ems are going to still be a little bit, well, this week I should say, not still, but they are a little bit late, and I'm sorry about that. Too much happened last second that caused it to not go up on time, but hopefully you guys understand this week for week 3 Picke'Ems, those will be up on time, guys, so make sure to stay tuned on the IBA channel. Sorry about everything. We will be back to normal after this week, though. I'm sorry.
Yo, what is going on, all you IBA fans? It's your boy AA on 2 for 20, bringing you guys week 2 of the IBA Picke'Ems. But we are not alone. We are joined by the cookie baker himself, the guy who's gonna get me all baked and shit, young EzBake.
Hey baby, what's poppin', baby?
Oh my god.
We're here with them Picke'Em crew.
Honestly, I was not ready for that.
You ain't ready for this. But you know, this time we're gonna try to half the time, cause who the fuck wants to watch a 40-minute Picke'Em crew?
Last time was a little bit too long. We went a little bit too ranty on some of them.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. The first match that we have this week. All right, so we got Jazz, coach of the Bristol City Bandits, and he is fighting against Glisc, coach of the Manchester United. And I'm picking my boy Glisc this week. I feel that top, even though Lando, I feel like, can definitely put in some work this match, and also between that and also Thunderous together, I feel like they do a lot of really good wall breaking against Manchester United. But I still think that between the top of Bulu and the Zard Y, that it's gonna be really hard for top to really come back, especially with his team. So I feel like that also top really just struggles against ground types in general, and Flygon is definitely going to be a solid ground type. If it gets set up and sweep, that could be great for Manchester United. So I think that that's definitely going to put them over the edge. What about you?
Well, I was shaky on this one, but I had faith in Blaze. It might be a big mistake, probably a big mistake, because I didn't help him build his own team for once in his life. But I can see Scissor doing a lot of work. I think he has matchup, and if he's able to play his cards right, he can definitely win. The Bandits aren't out of it by just like Manchester United's matchup better, so I went with them.
I was gonna say the dual genie can definitely put in work, especially as like very powerful wall breakers this match. I think that if Jazz brings both of them, I think that there's a good chance he could win. But I think the matchup's slightly more in Glisc's favor.
Like Rocks plus regular Scissor can do a lot of work. But besides that, let's get into the next match.
We got John, coach of the Sophisticated Sableyes, versus Soto, coach of the Nevada Garchomps. Now, I learned from last week that not picking John results in me getting a loss, and so that and also the fact that I feel like Gyarados and Mega Altaria can really put in a lot of work against Soto's team, I have to go with John this week. I feel like the Mega Sableyes of the Sophisticated Sableyes, with their Mega Altaria and their Gyarados, are going to put in a lot of work this week. Now, I don't know about you, but
No, you know, I had a mistake of not picking the Nevada Garchomps last week, so I decided to go with them instead over the Sableyes, even though the Sableyes has that dope ass logo, TBH. But I really just like the I don't really know, but I like the Mimikyu could do a lot. I feel like I like the Vadis matchup. Like Latios could do a lot with EQ and stuff. Weavile, I don't know. I think if he can team build, he can definitely win. He has a cards. If he can play his cards right, he can win. So I put my faith in the Garchomps.
I'd say this was definitely a close match for me in terms of team matchup, because I feel like they both. It's sort of like a 1v1 thing. Like each of them, I feel like has one thing for the other team. So it's definitely going to come down to really who can kind of play around the other's counters better. But I feel like that John's team could slightly easier do that.
Like if one Mon goes down, then like it's just a gaping hole for another Mon, which is gonna happen. So next game, we're flying through this today.
Next game, we got the Rhode Island Rotoms, coached by Top, versus Pharynx, coach of the Toronto Raptors. Now, Pharynx did not actually have a game last week, so I'm a little bit unsure of how he's gonna battle. But I think that I'm going to have to put my faith in Pharynx, because Sand can really do a lot to Top's team. I also feel like the Aromatisse with Sand is going to put in a lot of work, because Top's team, while it is a bunch of wall breakers, at the same time, Excadrill is going to plow through his team, because he doesn't really have anything for ground types that's really reliable. And also, I'm looking at his team, unless I'm missing something. I don't see a flying type on there. I could be wrong, but I don't see a flying type. All I see for ground resistance is Gourgeist. And Aromatisse could easily Toxic all that and potentially beat it 1v1 with Wish as well, because Gourgeist's only recovery is Leech Seed. So while Gourgeist can always sub-seed, I feel like also Delphox could definitely break Gourgeist really easily. So I feel like that my matchups with Pharynx this week.
And I picked Top because, you know, I love Top. Top's a G, real homie right there. You know, I was talking trash about him last week. He's cool now because did he win last week?
He lost last week 5-0. I am 4-0 to the Herdiers.
Now he's gonna bounce back this week. I'm calling it because I think his matchup with the Mon's like a Ferdinand does a shit ton to his team.
It really
I feel
does.
like only like one Mon, which is Keldeo, can actually beat it 1-on-1 because Tyrant the Mach Punch or Vacuum Waves, and then the Necrozma does after rocks and some chip damage, it can actually get 2 KO'd. Like you're saying that he doesn't have a great switch in the extra drill. He's got Zygarde 50, which can take hits. That thing can tank hits. And I don't see, like, you look at his team, what's his 1000 arrow switching? Delzami's, you know, we all know he is like the combination of Zygarde plus Infernape really can do a lot to this team.
Okay, I actually didn't really realize until just now how much Zygarde does do to his team. But I mean, Aromatisse can definitely take a hit or two, I'm sure of that.
No,
also,
dude,
if it's Banded Zygarde, maybe not. But I feel like it's at least able to knock at 3 KO by 1000 arrows.
But you're saying Infernape Drutch. You're saying Infernape Zygarde.
Now, Infernape Zygarde together, I'm talking about just Zygarde alone. But I do agree that with the coverage, though, Infernape also gets gunk shots. That's going to blow through Aromatisse.
And then,
so, yeah, I didn't really realize that before.
But, and then Drosh is there also to take hits and stuff. You can either an air balloon Ushika Berry to beat the extra drill and knock that thing out with the drain punch or something. But yeah, I faith in Top more or less the matchup, not because his team's good, but I love Top. I feel he can put in some work. Even things like Zoroark can do a lot to his team. So let's get into the next battle.
Well, next up we got Odds, coach of the Memphis B-Wars, versus one of our 2 new coaches this week, because 2 coaches did drop last week. And then one of the new coaches being Shadowlink, coach of the Jersey Shellos. Now, this week, I have Odds. I'm picking Odds again, because, you know, Odds really boosted my confidence last week. The odds were definitely in his favor with that Togekiss pulled through. And I think...
Oh, look at that pun.
Yeah, I'm really glad you caught on. But I feel like, though, that not many teams really have Picke'Em Black switches. And while the Shellos definitely have a few, such as Finny and Toxapex, definitely. I feel like
sorry, and
Finny's actually 3 KO'd, so, and it could definitely kill off with Moonblast.
Okay, well, let me just explain this. You continue, just continue. I'll talk in a bit. Sorry about this.
So I feel like, though, between Picke'Em Black Raikou could definitely put in a lot of work versus the Shellos, and while Picke'Em definitely does have a lot of potential with the Scarf this week, which could mean that the Shellos could definitely play around that with things such as Crook, and also their Tyrantrum and Finny. Well, not necessarily Tyrantrum, but like Finny and Crook especially, though. I feel like that the Shellos definitely don't have too much that wants to take on Picke'Em and Raikou together, though I will say that Crook is a phenomenal matchup. I think that Crook can definitely bounce back, especially if it is Banded Crook, because Banded Crook is able to 2-KO Milotic, which is one of the B-Ware's only real hardcore answers to Crook.
I think the B-Wares can win this matchup.
Oh my god.
I even know the Shellos have, like...
What is this?
And register that could be Picke'Em Black, but, you know, sub Picke'Em can sub up on Toxapex.
Is this your impression of me?
No, it's not. Not even close, dude. You're more like...
My name is no shit. Okay, well, out of the B-Wares, they win. Like, if they can bring like Nidoqueen, name a switching, that's not nothing on his team. Like, nothing can switch into Nidoqueen successfully. Mega, like I don't see. I think he has matchup, and if he's able to play his cards right, he can
definitely win for me. Cause I love you, Odds. I love you. Give me a little kissy.
Oh my god.
Okay, next match.
So wait, you picked Odds, right?
Yeah, I picked Odds, 100%, dude. Like, well, even though Crook like fucks up his team, he's got things.
It's really just Crook, but I feel like that with the amount of things on Odds' team that can handle the Shellos, I think that's.
Wait, hold on. You said that the B-Wares don't have a Crook switching, right? But
Well,
you got Chestnut.
Not Banded Crook, because don't forget, Crook does get Aerial Ace, which would definitely blow through Chestnut.
Well, he could just click Spiky Steel one turn, then go into Metagross, and then just, or
Well,
something like that,
I mean,
But,
switch
it
in,
is-
because if you don't, because if you read that,
Don't yell at me. I'm just trying to look
What
back
the
at next
fuck?
match. I'm just don't
Alright,
please no you
well-
don't.
you know what? Next match though, we got the match of the Lords, the Texas Tarantrums, coached by Nick, versus the Bug Bite Bros, coached by BandedCaterpie. Now, this was a very, very hard match for me to pick.
It wasn't for me.
It was a very, very hard match for me to pick because I gotta go with my boy Nicky VGC, aka Nick, aka the Texas Tarantrums, because I feel like that Arcanine and Garchomp and Mew and really just all of Nick's offense can really put in a lot of work. The main thing, and I know I said this last week, and I ended up being wrong about Corey, and I realized that Corey is a lot better than I thought he would be with this team, because it's a little different from what I would personally draft, but I think I definitely see the potential in it.
That's because you suck.
Damn.
Sorry.
Damn.
Continue.
Yeah, so even though I don't like the dual steel type, and I feel like it's very interchangeable, I think that it has a lot of actual potential as a match. Though I will say that Arcanine has a very good match in my opinion, and while the Bug Bite Bros definitely have things for Arcanine, I feel like Arcanine, along with other things on Nick's team, such as Mew, Gengar, Electros even, definitely put in a lot of work. Also, I think that Garchomp could definitely put in work with like a sub SD set if it could pull it off. If that could pull it off with like Earthquake and Outrage. Well, not Earthquake, not Outrage, like Earthquake and Fire Fang. Yeah,
and then
I would say
maybe,
once
like,
Rotom is dead,
Claw.
because sub SD,
Excuse me,
really
sir.
just kill off the Rotom.
Excuse me. Let me go here really quick.
Alright.
And I got the Bug Bite Bros, cause they are pro. Yeah, okay, I'll pick the Bug Bite Bros this week. They got Rotom Heat, beautiful Pokemon, beats his team. Then he's got Gastrodon, he's got Serena. Like, I think I love his Water Fire Grass core this matchup. Cause things
Nick
like
has
Rotom Heat,
Gastrodon.
Jellicent, Serena, he can't really do a lot too. Like, Arcanine's got Jellicent and Arcanine. Rotom that beat Serena. But then, Mew can also be a problem. But I feel like the Bug Bite Bros can overcome it. And I like their matchup, and I like his playing style. Like Lopunny's not actually that big of a problem because he's got things like Meloetta, Mega Heracross, Staraptor, Donphan that could take a hit, Magearna too. And Magearna's actually could be a big issue for his team. I don't see his best Pharaohs are both weak to Thunderbolt, both of them. And
there is Arcanine. Spidef Arcanine could potentially be a decent mon.
I forgot the thing.
That is
the combined thing. But like
that
I
is the
said,
main thing though. That's really
like
it.
you said before, you said Arcanine's broke better offensively this match, right? Or do you say Arcanine?
I said more so Arcanine in general. Probably more so a defensive role to be honest, but Arcanine could still possibly pick up some kills with Burn Up or Flare Blitz, whatever one he wants to run.
I think he has I feel like a Toxic split. Arcanine with Toxic could be actually very useful if he doesn't bring a good heal battler, which that's why I think Aurora Veil here still Serena will come. But yeah, I got the Bug Bite Bros. I feel like they can definitely overcome.
Do you mean Aurora Therapy, Serena? Because you said
Therapy,
Aurora
yeah.
Veil.
Shut up.
It's a very different move. All right,
Okay.
next up we got Shori, coach of the Philadelphia Pidgeots, versus Retro Surge, coach of the... Next up we got Retro Surge, coach of the California Lucario's, and he's fighting up against Shori, coach of the Philadelphia Pidgeots. And I think that even though both let me down last week, very much so, I'm more so mad at Shori, but that's unrelated. But I think that I'm gonna have to go with my boy Retro Surge. Now, normally I've seen these two fight before, and it's usually a good match, but Retro usually ends up pulling through. But even unrelated to just me seeing them both battle each other before, I think that definitely the combination of Clefable, Mence, and Emboar put in a lot of work against Shori's team. I don't see too much I want to take all of them on, because even though Suicune's there, and I know you can say Suicune does not really want to take on a wild charge from Emboar, at least not switch in on it, because it is going to be too KO'd, especially a Scarf Emboar this week. I feel like Scarf Emboar can put in a lot of work against Shori's team, and not many mons really want to take on a Scarf Emboar, I feel like, especially switch in on it, because it still has a monstrous attack stat. Also, Webs could potentially be a huge thing for Retro this match with Masquerain.
Well, I picked the Lucarios. More or less, I think that the Pidgeot's really just underwhelmed me last week. Honestly, I was expecting Tapu Lele like just sacking off. I don't think he played well last week, and like that just pissed me off. And I don't think that. To
be fair, Lele, if he knew, I don't think anyone really knew that the Mienshao was gonna be Sash last week. If he had possibly broken Sash early in the game with rocks, then Lele wouldn't have died. And that was the main reason, because it was a Scarf Lele, and it did outspeed Mienshao. Just the fact that ended up living on the Sash.
The same thing is like, you ever heard of Scarf Mienshao? You know, it's not very common anymore.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. I guess Scarf Mienshao could have been a thing too, but yeah. But also though, the rocks. I think not bringing rocks last week was huge for Shori, and that's another reason I was a little. It was mostly I'm mad because like I saw his team after, and it's like there could have been a lot of improvements. Also, the Nita King is not a switch in. Shori, not a switch in.
I think that I have my bet on Lucarios. I feel like Mud still can actually do a lot, because I feel like that thing can't take on Pinsir. That thing can take on Pinsir with the rock
Definitely
slide.
can take on Pinsir.
Like only Suicune, like that's gonna be like, I feel like Suicune's pressured a lot to beat defensive roll with no reliable recovery, so it's easy to beat. I feel like if he's able to cripple Suicune, it should be GG. And like you think about Mega Manectric does a shit ton to his team. Yeah. Like his Umbreon, he Volt switches. Umbreon switches on a Volt switch. He can then go Clefable setup and just kind of win. But you know, I picked the Lucario. So yeah, let's hop into I think the last match.
No, we have 2 more matches. But next up though, we got Quinn, the other new coach this week, coach of the Cambridge Clefables versus Prince, coach of the Washington Jangmo O's, and I have to go with my boy Quinn. Now, I'm mad that I'm picking Quinn because Quinn fucking kicked my ass a couple weeks ago. But I mean, obviously, you know, I want to get some picks off of Quinn. So Quinn, you better not let me down. Will be the second time you let me down. But I feel like though Quinn had a lot of really good pickups when he joined. I feel like that Torn T is gonna be great against Prince, mainly because even though it doesn't necessarily like kill off a lot on Prince's team, the fact that he can get a lot of momentum and outspeed outspeed everything that's non-scarfed on Prince's team or non-setup Zard, I feel like that's going to help a lot with getting momentum. Quinn can go into anything he really wants to take a hit, potentially, if Tornadus is out. Also, with things such as Incineroar this match, I feel like it's going to be great for breaking Breloom. Also, it can handle the Cresselia pretty easily. And also, Mega Blastoise is actually going to put in a lot of work this match. I feel like, if anything, my one thing about Quinn this match is he might try and over-rely on it, because it takes on so much of Prince's team well, besides really just the Zapdos and the Breloom. So that's my thoughts. What do you think? Oh, wait, also the Electivire? But yeah.
Can't forget that boy. I also... Sorry, I also beat the Clefables or Cambridge or who have the new kid on the block, because I like his team. I see that he has things like Gothitelle that can beat Crest and Trap it and beat that thing one-on-one. Terrakion really puts in a dent on his team. He has things like his Monzon would take a hit from Terrakion, Trap, and can get beaten by Gothitelle, and then Torn-T can like pivot around his team, so that's really cool. Blastoise, like I said, does a lot. And Sonora can set up on things such as Cresselia, and let's say he's like defensive Lando, or I feel like Lando T actually can do a lot, even though like he would probably need to bring Whimsicott, which the Jangmos, if he runs Lando T with Sludge Waves for the Whimsicott, I don't know what to do, but I would do something really weird and cool for y'all.
Well, he also has Z-Fly, you know, he might just bring the more reliable thing in case if, you know, he wants to hit Terrakion that potentially can switch in, because that'll hit a lot better than Sludge Wave would.
But if he was a style on him, he goes for that though.
Alright, yeah, you know, style points, if Prince runs that, speaking of that, this is my lock this week. Have we hit your lock yet? Or is that the next match?
Yeah, I picked the Bug Bites.
Alright. So yeah, if he does...
By the way.
If Prince does that and still manages to win this match, I will personally give him a shout out next week, and I will 100% pick you regardless of your matchup. But otherwise, beyond that, I think that Quinn definitely has a much superior matchup this match, and I can't wait to see how my new boy Quinn does. But last match of the week, we got... boy, young Ace Nova, coach of the New York Greninjas, versus PointBlanke, coach of the Portrait Turdiers. Now, I know Number boy Nova was preaching me. He's like, young AA Ron 2420. Don't you pick me this week? I gotta pick you, Nova. There's too much going for you. That Mammoth Swine, oof. Mammoth Swine puts in so much work this match. It's gonna be fucking great. Also, I really like a lot of Nova's hazard removal, and I feel like it's gonna really help trying to keep off webs on the field, which is really the Herdiers' main way of getting a lot of kills with their offense. Because if you look at the offense, while it is a very powerful offense, none of the really strong offense hits over 100. Because Galvantula isn't like strong offense, and everything else is 100 or lower. So he needs to bring a Scarf user or rely on webs, which I think is gonna be the case this match. So I feel like that Nova has some strong hazard removal in Latias and Empoleon. It's gonna put in a lot of work. Also, Coco can very freely switch in a lot of mons on the Herdiers team, and also Entei can break a lot of things with Sacred Fire and E-Speed. That's why I picked the Greninjas. What about you?
I picked the partiers. You know, Victini, Manaphy, Hydreigon. Honestly, if he wants, he should bring all of those three every week and just destroy everyone. But my opinion. Like defensive Manaphy can actually do a crap ton. He can wall Scizor, wall Mammoth. I think take a couple hits from Mammoth Swine, beat Entei, gets beat by Coco, but then he's got things like the Mega Aggron, which could, I think, make things like Mega Aggron and Tank Earth, which both can a combination of those two, and Piloswine could both wall type of Coco. And Piloswine has a nice matchup. So
it really does.
You got the Piloswine versus the Mammoth Swine, and I'm going with the baby bro. You know, Scizor can't. I don't think Scizor has Steam Sweep because of Victini and Manaphy. That won't happen. But I don't know. I got faith in my Herdiers. Not my lock of the week, because I still think that like Nigga just has to have a nice matchup. So yeah, that is that.
I was saying, I definitely couldn't lock this match either. I still had to go with my boy Quinn, because I think that Quinn's matchup is too immaculate, and I really feel bad for picking against Prince again. But when he has he is a very powerful team. Don't get me wrong, but when he has a good matchup, then call me on my cell phone. I'll pick my boy Prince, because Prince is a very powerful team. Honestly, it's a team that I would love to draft, but sadly, I have not seen a matchup for it yet. But that's it for week 2 of the IBA Picke'Ems. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like down below. Check out my boy Young Yeezy Yake, or Young Yeezy Bake.
Hey! I almost about to hit 40 subscribers. Oof.
Yeah, guys, push him over. Push him over, guys. And I'm also in the description as well if you would love to check me out. Also, make sure to check out all the wonderful coaches and analysts of the season. Well, check them out if you're not going to check me out, at least. Check out the wonderful coaches and analysts that you have not only seen here for coaches.
They only come to watch us.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
So make sure. So make sure to check out the coaches in the description that we have mentioned in this video, along with the rest of the analyst team. They are producing content on the IBA channel when we are not. So thank you for them. Also, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss next week of Picke'Ems with your boy Young Bobbert and I, because we are the best analyst team there is. So I'm going to get on out of here.
Peace.
Alright, well, we'll see you guys later. Peace.